Hello everyone, my name is Agatha Bratiwis Darmanto Triputri. I'm the second semester student of Medical Record and Health Information Department. In this special occasion, I would like to present about quantitative and qualitative analysis from the two examples of medical record templates. First, the quantitative analysis from incomplete medical record recording. You can see that there are some points that should be critically analyzed. In this point, analysis of incompleteness both in terms of forms that must exist and in terms of completeness of filling in all question items on the form in accordance with the services provided to patients. The medical record personnel performing this analysis should know about the first is the type of form used, and the second is the type of form that must exist. The third is people who have the right to fill in medical records. The fourth is people who have to legally write it. The next point is purpose of quantitative analysis. The first is determine if there are deficiencies so that it can be corrected immediately while the patient is still being treated to ensure the effectiveness of the usefulness of the contents of medical record at a later date. What is meant by correction is an improvement in accordance with the actual situations. And then to identify the incomplete part to be more complete and can be used for patient care. And then for completeness of medical records in accordance with the stipulated time period regulations, licensings, accreditations, and other certificate requirements. And the last is know things that have the potential to pay compensation. The next point is components of quantitative analysis. First is check patient identification on each sheet of medical records. Each sheet of medical records must have patients identified. If there is an anonymous medical record sheet, it must be reviewed to determine the owner. Two, there are all the important reports. This component will check the reports of the service activities provided whether there is or does not exist. There have two reports in the medical record. First is general reports, including patient history sheets, physical examinations, progress notes, clinical observations, and disease summaries. The second is special reports, including reports of surgery, anesthesia, and laboratory examination result. 3. Listing review. First, check on incomplete and unreadable records so that it can be completed and clarified. 2. Check line by line if there is an empty line in a line so that it is not filled later. And the last is, if there is something wrong in recording, the part that is wrong is outlined and it is still readable. Then an examination is given on the side that the note is wrong. Next, the second template will be for qualitative analysis. from inconsistencies in filling out medical record. You can see that there are some points that should be critically analyzed. In this point, a review of the filling of medical record relating to the consistency and content of which is evidence of an accurate and complete medical record. The first point is purpose of analysis qualitative. First is support the quality of information. And then is an activity of risk management. And then helps in coding disease and more specific action that are very important for medical research and administrative studies and for billing. And then completeness of informed consent in accordance with regulations. And the last, identification of inconsistent records. Okay, the next point is component of qualitative analysis. The first is review the completeness and consistency of the diagnosis. There are several of diagnoses, namely diagnosis at admission, additional diagnosis, preoperative diagnosis, postoperative diagnosis, pathological diagnosis, clinical diagnosis, final and or primary diagnosis, and the last is second diagnosis. To review the consistency of diagnostic record. For example, the result of surgery, investigations, diagnostic examinations, and action letters must be consistent. If not, it shows a bad medical record. And then review recording things done during treatment and medication. For example, the test results are normal. The patient is in good condition. The patient has been given an explanation and instruction. All that, there must be a record of the condition in the medical record. And then review the existence of informed consent that should be available. In this component, analyze the patient's consent letter whether it has been filled incorrectly and completely in accordance with the procedures and regulations made consistently. This is the web I use for my presentations. I think my presentation is enough. Thank you for the occasion and attention. Have a great day.